I'm not sure how much this thing is worth in money, but I can tell you it will be worth a lot to the team that wins it. It's the Silver Cup, the coveted prize to the winning team at this Computer Bowl. The bowl is a contest between the computer gurus of the West Coast and the high-tech experts of the East Coast to see whether the denizens of the Silicon Valley or the brains of Route 128 know more about computers. Today, the conclusion of the Computer Bowl, East versus West, on this special edition of the Computer Chronicles.
The Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by McGraw-Hill, publishers of Byte magazine, and VIX, the Byte Information Exchange. In print and online, Byte and VIX serve computer professionals worldwide with detailed information on new hardware, software, and technologies.
Welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stuart Chaffee, and with me this week is Esther Dyson. Esther, we're here again at the Boston World Trade Center Auditorium for part 2 of the Computer Bowl. Your team from the East Coast about to take on David Bunnell's team from the West Coast. This is a big rivalry here between the West and the East, and I was wondering, is there really a difference in those computer cultures? What's the difference in a Silicon Valley type person and a Route 128 type person?
Well, it's very simple. It comes down to socks. The guys on the West Coast don't wear any socks, and the guys on the East Coast wear white socks. Aside from that, to get a little more serious,
yeah.
The West Coast is very much PC-oriented and chip-oriented. The East Coast comes out of the mini-computer and mainframe culture, so they tend to be older and staider and, of course, much smarter, which is why we're going to win.
Esther, good luck to you and your East Coast team. I know you're eager to get back into the fray there. We're going to have part 2, the grand finale of the Computer Bowl, in just a moment, so stay with us. As we begin the second half of the Computer Bowl, the East Coast team is ahead 180 to 115. The members of the East Coast team are Esther Dyson, editor-publisher of Release 1.0, Mitch Kapor, chairman of On Technology and founder of Lotus, David Hathaway, partner of the venture capital firm Venrock Associates, investors in Apple and Intel, Bill Poduska, chairman and CEO of Stellar Computer. The captain of the East Coast team is Dick Schaefer, editor-publisher of the Technologic Computer Letter. The members of the West Coast team are Adele Goldberg, president and CEO of Park Place Systems, Bill Joy, co-founder of Sun Microsystems, Casey Powell, president and CEO of Sequent Computers, Alan Michaels, chairman and CEO of Ardent Computer Company, and the captain of the West Coast team is David Bunnell, chairman and CEO of PCW Communications. The MC for the Computer Bowl is Chris Morgan. The questioner is Will Hearst, publisher of the San Francisco Examiner.
All right, round 3. Will?
For 10 points, what is the most widely installed PC operating system?
East Coast, Dyson.
DOS.
Correct.
For 10 points, of the following 3 terms, which does not describe a type of microprocessor? CISC, RISC, or WISC?
West Coast, Joy.
Whisk.
Correct.
Correct.
Yes.
For 10 points, at what trade show was VisiCalc first introduced?
East Coast, Schaefer.
West Coast Computer Fair.
Correct. Okay, the score. Score is the East Coast 200, the West Coast 125.
This is a toss-up question leading to a bonus round. For your 10-point toss-up, what was the first computer John von Neumann used? The Mark I or the Pilot Ace?
East Coast, Kapor.
Mark I.
Correct.
We're in a bonus round now, and you may consult to answer these questions. The round is about IBM. There are 3 parts worth 5 points each. Who wrote IBM's Billion-Dollar Baby?
Your answer?
Portia Isaacson.
Correct.
That's correct. How many horizontal lines make up the IBM logo on computer screens?
It's 12. It's 12 or
Is it
13.
8, 13, or both?
13.
Wrong.
Both. There are two official versions.
Wait a minute.
For 10 points, who raised $500 to start a company by selling a version of the Space War computer game?
East Coast, Schaefer.
Nolan Bushnell.
That's correct.
For 10 points, was the US Festival rock concert sponsored by Stuart Brand?
West Coast, Joy.
Steve Wozniak.
Is correct.
Go for him.
Now we have a toss-up question. Some say the personal computer era began when a microcomputer appeared on this, the January...
West Coast, Powell.
It was the MITS Altair.
Wrong. Oh, okay. I take it back. That is correct.
The complete question is, was that computer the Inside, the Altair, the Skelby, or the Apple I? And the answer is the Altair. We're now in a bonus round. 3 parts. You may consult. The bonus round is about computer magazines.
Fix.
Gee. I don't know much about that.
6 months before the famous Popular Electronics cover, another computer appeared on a magazine cover. The computer was the Mark VIII. For 10 points, was the magazine Scientific American, EDN, or Radio Electronics?
Radio electronics.
That's correct.
Correct.
All right.
What microprocessor was used in the Mark VIII?
8008.
Wrong.
The correct answer is the Intel 4004.
A rumble goes up in the audience.
Finally, which was the first computer magazine? Was it Computers and Automation, Datamation, or Computer World?
Computers and automation.
That's
correct. For 10 points, what is the term for software permanently stored in ROM?
East Coast, Kapor. Sorry, your time's up.
Operating system.
No. Time's up.
The West Coast, want to try that?
Firmware.
Okay.
Firmware?
What? Firmware. Okay. Let's recap the score. It's the East Coast 235 and the West Coast 175.
Coming back. All right.
The gap is closing slowly.
For 10 points, is there a way to read a magnetic tape if you don't have a tape reader?
Yes.
West Coast, Goldberg.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yes, by using a special magnetic powder or fluid. We have a toss-up question now. Are IBM's headquarters on Madison Avenue, in Poughkeepsie, or in Armonk?
East Coast, Hathaway.
Armonk.
Armonk is correct.
Here's the bonus question. You may consult. We know of at least 2 high-level computer languages whose names read the same way backwards as forwards. For 5 points apiece, what are they?
Audience, please keep quiet. Your answer, please.
Ada.
Ada is correct.
C.
C is correct.
Well done, Mitch.
Oh, miserable question.
A bit of a trick question.
What was the only personal computer to be named after the state in which it was produced?
East Coast, Schaefer.
Ohio Scientific.
That's correct.
For 10 points, was the whetstone a measure of computing performance?
West Coast, Joy.
Computing performance.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. We'll repeat the entire question for the East Coast.
For 10 points, was the whetstone a measure of computing performance developed in the USA, the UK, or France?
Deduct 10 points on that. East, Kapor.
UK.
That's correct.
Now we have a toss-up question about computer pioneer Alan Turing. Turing contributed to the design of one computer that was built. Was it ENIAC or the Pilot Ace?
West Coast, Goldberg.
ENIAC.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. East Coast? Kapor.
Tough one. Tough question.
For 5 points, who received the Tony nomination for Best Actor for portraying Turing on Broadway this year? Was it Sir Laurence Olivier, Ian McClellan, or Derek Jacobi?
And
That's a
bonus.
yes, it's the bonus round.
Derek
and
Jacobi.
Dick, the answer is Derek Jacobi is correct.
What was the name of the play?
Breaking the code.
Breaking the Code.
Breaking the Code is correct. Okay, we'll finish up the bonus round, and that'll be the end of this round.
Where did Turing do his research during his stay in the United States?
Your answer?
Princeton.
Princeton is correct. Okay, and that's the end of this round with the score, the East Coast 290 and the West Coast 175.
Here at the Computer Bowl, we're ready for the final round now to see who is the master of computer trivia, and right now the East Coast team is ahead. Let's go back to our examiner, Will Hearst, and our MC, Chris Morgan.
Hands on buzzers, please.
APL is a high-level software language. For 10 points, what do the letters in APL stand
East
for?
Coast, Dyson.
A programming language.
That's correct.
What arcade game started the computer arcade craze?
West Coast, Powell.
Pong.
Pong is correct.
What is the name of the government-funded computer network linking defense researchers?
West Coast, Joy.
ARPANET.
ARPANET is correct.
Here's a toss-up question. For 10 points, what computer language uses turtles?
East Coast, Kapor.
Logo.
Logo is correct.
You may consult. Here are 3 questions about CPM for 5 points apiece. What does CPM stand for?
Control Program Microcomputer.
Control Program for Microcomputers.
That is correct.
Who wrote it?
Gary Kildall.
Gary Kildall, correct.
What company did he work for at the time?
No, was it before DR or was it?
Your answer.
Digital Research.
Digital Research is correct. Okay, the score is East Coast 325, West Coast 195.
For 10 points, what company did Kentucky Fried Computers eventually become?
West Coast, Bunnell.
North Star.
That's correct.
For 10 points, what was the name of Coleco's ill-fated home computer?
East Coast, Kapor.
Adam.
Adam is correct.
Here's another toss-up. The miniature circuits that make up today's computers are manufactured in a so-called clean room to avoid contamination. Which is cleaner, a Class 100 clean room or a Class 10 clean room?
West Coast, Joy.
Class 10.
10 is correct.
Now we have a bonus round with no redeeming social merit whatsoever. You may consult. We'll name the street address, and for 5 points each, tell us what computer company is located at that address. Number 1, 590 Madison Avenue.
IBM?
That's correct.
1700 Green Hills Road.
Data General.
I'm sorry, that's wrong. Correct answer is?
Correct answer is Borland in Scotts Valley, California.
Borland? Borland?
Is that a computer company?
Borland?
And you're from the West Coast, says yes.
20555 FM 149.
Compact.
Correct.
That's correct. 100 Throckmorton.
Kentucky Fried Computers.
Sorry. Will, the answer is?
Correct answer is Tandy Radio Shack in Fort Worth. Next and last is 16011 Northeast 36th Way.
Microsoft.
That's correct. Okay, the score is the East Coast 335 and the West Coast 230.
This is an individual question. Either side may answer. For 10 points, in 1921, Karl Kapor used the Czech word for worker in his play Ruhr.
East Coast Dyson.
Robot.
Correct.
Is the largest employer in Silicon Valley the Air Force, Lockheed, or Apple Computer?
West Coast Joy.
Lockheed.
Lockheed is correct.
What about on Route 128?
Here's a toss-up. Prior to their use in computers, punch cards were used in which of the following machines? Silk weaving machines, calculators.
West Coast Michaels.
Silk weaving.
That's correct. Before we go into your bonus round, this is not a standard punch card, but we thought you'd like to see it. It has round holes in it. It's a UNIVAC card. Go ahead, Will.
Thanks, Chris.
This four-part bonus round is all about punched cards, like the one Chris is holding up. For 5 points, how many columns does an IBM standard computer punch card have?
80.
80 is correct.
What shape are the holes in IBM computer-readable punch cards?
Rectangular.
That's correct.
When punched cards first became popular in the 1890s, they had something in common with the dollar bill. What was it?
Your answer, please. We must have your answer.
They weren't worth very much.
Sorry, that's incorrect.
That's not correct.
I would suggest we
They
give
were
10 points for that.
They were the same size. The card was designed to use files built for storing dollars.
The
Last bonus question. What is the name used for the tiny round piece of paper created by punching paper tape? Is it pulp, Chad, or fluff?
Audience, please keep.
Chad.
Chad is correct. Okay, the score is East Coast 345, West Coast 265.
An individual question. Either side may answer. Dip switches are small switches found inside computers. For 10 points, does the P in dip stand for peripheral, package, or pixel?
East Coast Kapor.
Package.
Package is correct.
For 10 points, what is the S100?
East Coast Kapor.
It's a computer bus.
Correct.
Here's a technical toss-up question for 10 points. Is a picosecond shorter or longer than a nanosecond?
West Coast Joy.
Shorter.
Shorter is correct.
This is the bonus round, and you may consult. During the 1960s and 1970s, the 8 major computer companies were referred to jokingly as IBM and the 7 Dwarfs. For 5 points apiece, how many of the 7 Dwarfs can you name? You'll have a total of 7 guesses.
NCR, GE, RCA, Control Data, Burroughs, Honeywell, and Sperry.
That's absolutely right. Okay, we've updated the scoreboard as 365 to 310.
This is an individual question. Either side may answer. What is the more common name for the IEEE 802.3 standard?
East Coast, Kapor.
Ethernet.
Correct. All right, we're working on the scoreboard. All right.
For 10 points, in 1971, when RCA got out of the computer business, who bought their computer division?
West Coast, sorry, Michaels.
I thought you were going to ask the buildings.
Your answer, please.
Who bought the...
Must have an answer.
GE.
GE is not correct.
Sorry, incorrect. Okay, that's the end of the Computer Bowl. And the scores... however, yes. Now we have to give the East Coast a chance to answer that question. And
could we hear the question,
yes, would
please?
you repeat the question, please?
For 10 points, in 1971, when RCA got out of the computer business, who bought their computer division? Was it?
Okay, Bill Podesco. Honeywell. East. I'm sorry, that's
Not
incorrect.
correct.
He was going to do multiple choice. Cut it.
Very right.
Well, we have a bit of a dilemma since you interrupted the question, but
The correct answer is UNIVAC, division of Sperry Rand.
okay. The winners of the world's first Computer Bowl are the East Coast team. And I'd like to present the bowl now to the captain of the East Coast team, Dick Schaefer. Congratulations, Dick. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm Cynthia Steele. In the random access file this week, Ashton Tate has finally started shipping DBase. This is an updated version of the firm's DBase management software. The company says if you buy the DBase 4, you will receive a free copy of DBase 4 Release 1.1. This will support the Ashton Tate Microsoft SQL Server database server. Sharp unveils a compact laptop clone, including the 16-level grayscale VGA display. This is no surprise since Compact uses the Sharp display. This new PC 5541 is battery-powered, based on the 80286 processor, which boasts a high-speed 40-megabyte hard disk and 3.5-inch 1.44 megabyte floppy. The suggested retail price is $5,595. If you're interested, look for the machine at Comdex. The last holdout in the quest to make PostScript a printer language standard has given up. Hewlett-Packard has finally licensed it from Adobe Systems. HP is expected to offer it in the future, but exact development plans have yet to be announced. At this point, over 25 computer equipment manufacturers have announced PostScript interpreter licensing agreements with Adobe Systems. Commodore is offering an 8-megabyte memory expansion and any hard disk drive controller for the Amiga 2000. This A2058 memory expansion at $799 for 2 megabytes can add up to 8 megabytes on a single card when fully populated with 1 megabyte chips. This additional memory will allow greater multitasking on the Amiga. Aldous has come down with a virus again, the second time in 8 months. But this time the firm was prepared. By using a vaccine program and an isolation procedure, the virus found in beta versions of its newest freehand drawing program in recent weeks was eradicated. Still, dozens of copies went out the door, which means it could come back to haunt the company's undated copies of the product. Speaking of viruses, Donald Gene Burleson, the first person ever convicted of using a computer virus to sabotage data, has been sentenced to 7 years probation. He has also been ordered to pay back nearly $12,000 to his former employer. Burleson's attorney says his client will appeal the sentence, which was handed down by a district judge in Fort Worth, Texas. If you're a PC user and hate to balance your checkbook, you may be in luck. San Francisco's First Interstate Bank yesterday started a new service to allow PC users among its customers to balance their checkbook with floppy disk. The service will cost you $4.95 a month. Here's how it works. First Interstate sends you a monthly statement on a floppy disk. You can then put it into your PC to compare the bank's figures with your own. This way you can see in an instant which checks have cleared and which haven't. The latest news from Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology in Virginia. Its new $1 million computer is now safely housed in one of its computer labs. Last summer, the students won the supercomputer in a nationwide competition. The computer is capable of making 375 million calculations a second. That's it for this week's Computer Chronicles. I'm Cynthia Steele.
The Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by McGraw-Hill, publishers of Byte magazine, and VIX, the Byte Information Exchange. In print and online, Byte and VIX serve computer professionals worldwide with detailed information on new hardware, software, and technologies.
For a transcript of this week's Computer Chronicles, send $4 to PTV Publications, Post Office Box 701, Kent, Ohio 44240. Please indicate program date.